Hey guys, today I'm going to show you a more cost efficient way that you can create the ABC tracers that people are using for their kids. Especially when you have more than one child that may need that tracer. They both can't use it at the same time. So you can create each one their very own. And then you could actually the way I'm going to show you how to do this is where you can actually place 3-hole punch over here on the side so that you could actually put it like in a binder, and then they could have this as a part of a binder and just use it as they need it. So that's why I have it kind of my letters going over to the right. So I'm going to walk you through how I created this, and I will also put the template out on in the group. So if you don't want to create it from scratch, then you can go right to the template and use the template, and I'll show you how to use the template as well. But I'm going to show you how to create it, and then show you some ways that you can get really creative to create, ones for numbers and pictures and things like that um, going forward. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click everything here, and I am going to hide that in addition to, so I'm going to leave this here because this is not a part of the project. This is just a template. And what I do anytime I'm getting ready to work with any type of item, I measure the space that I need. So I'm going to be placing this tracer, this ABC tracer on cardstock, okay? And we all got cardstock at the house, so no need to run out and buy anything. We got cardstock, we're good to go. All right, if you have any Cricut pens, again, you're good to go. Cardstock, Cricut pens, and then have some type of laminated paper that you can use where you can put the cardstock inside the laminated paper, and then your kids will be able to draw right on top of the laminated paper. Use a dry erase marker, and you could just wipe it off with paper towel, or you could get the washable markers and just wipe it with a little cloth. Same purpose, okay? Alrighty, so I have this shape, and I'll just show you guys from the beginning here. So the first thing I do is I like to work with shapes to create some of the stuff that I'm working with. And that's just to help me to stay creative because I'm old and I want to keep my mind going, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and select shapes from the left-hand side of my screen, and I'm going to choose a square. And then I am going to go up to the top here, my lock proportions, right in between my width and my height. And I'm going to unlock that by clicking it one time. And I'm going to change the width and height to 8.5 by 11 because that is the size of my cardstock. Okay, so again, this is just giving us a template to work with. This is not going to be a part of the project. The only thing Cricut Design Space is going to do for us is draw the letters on the cardstock. We're not going to cut anything out, okay? So at this point, I would make this template a lighter color just so you can see it better once you start placing your letters on it. So we'll just go with blue this time. So the next thing is to get your text, okay? And I use Cricut Sans, which work perfectly fine. So I'm just going to stick with that. And you want to do your uppercase and lowercase letters. I put about 2 spaces in between, and then I do the next letter. And hopefully I can remember my alphabets. If I mess up, thank God I'm not being graded on it, right? Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna bring it in here a little bit, give myself a little room. Again, I'm gonna line everything over towards the right because I wanna allow myself to be able to use 3-hole punch paper or 3-hole punch, excuse me, so that you can like put this in a binder. So that's why I'm giving you the space here on the left-hand side, okay? All right, so we got the first row of letters, and the best thing to do is just to duplicate it. Oh, Jesus. Okay, we're gonna copy it first. Might be a good idea. Let's see here. All right, so just gonna paste that. And I still had the blue template in there. All right, so you're gonna just double click here, and then I wouldn't just, you know, start over. I mean, I would just highlight everything here, and you know that you have about 2 spaces in between everything. So we'll just go E. All right, I know for a fact that I highlighted that. So I don't know why it is acting crazy. Okay, let's try this again. All right, so now we have our second row. And again, you're just gonna kind of drag it over a little bit here. All right, and I just right clicked and duplicated everything. And this time we're going to do the same thing. We're just gonna highlight everything because it's just easier to me. I think I went too fast for myself. All right, so now we have our next row. And you're going to notice that there's going to be a little bit of difference in spacing, and that's only because the letters are not the same size. Okay, so what you can do in that case is you do have room to put another little space in there if you are that particular about everything kind of lining up a little bit, then you can actually get you some more spacing in there, just like that. And then again, you're just going to bring it over to the very far right. All right, so now we have our fourth row. We're just going to duplicate again and go ahead and do our fifth row. Okay, and I'm making sure that I'm leaving some sizing in here for my lines because we do want to put our lines in here as well. So I'm just going to highlight this again. Okay, and you notice because these letters are a lot bigger, a lot larger than the other ones. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do here, but I'm going to go back to the very first one and I'm going to change the font size to 67. And that's because that's going to give me more room so that everything is on my page nice and straight. So I'm going to change all the fonts to 67. So I'm just highlighting the entire line or row and then just changing everything to 67. That's going to give us a little bit more room. I know when I did it the first time, just practicing with it, I did have it on that 80 something, but we're going to change it to 67 and tab. So very easy fix there. And because this row is super thick, that is why I went back and changed everything. Alrighty, so now we are going to take and pull that over. All right, 3 more rows and we are done. So this time I'm going to copy this one. Yeah, copy, Doris, not cut. I told you guys I'm getting old. I got to keep this old mind going. All right. So we're going to double click, highlight everything. Again. All right. Watch what you're doing, Doris. All right, so now we have our next row here of letters, and it's already going to pick up that 67 because we copied it from down below. So we don't have to go up to change the font. Looks good. So we're just going to go ahead and duplicate that. And we're going to bring it down. And this time we're going to do our UVW. Okay. And you see how that took up everything, even though it's because those letters are thicker. And then we're going to do our last row here. I'm going to bring it up just a little bit there. And our XYZ. So it's not time consuming. And even if it seems like it's time consuming the first time, just think about it. You'll be able to save this project and just change up whatever you need to change up instead of having to recreate because you'll already have it already done. Okay, so we'll move that over just a little bit there. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to actually bring in our lines. And so I'm going to do another shape here because I told you guys I have to keep my mind going. So I'm just going to bring the square over and I'm going to unlock it here in the bottom left corner and move it up to a really thin line where it's almost non-existent. Okay, and then I'm just going to change the width to 8.5, which is the size of my cardstock. Okay, so that makes it really nice and easy for you. And then let's go here in the top right corner and we're going to duplicate that line 8 times, so or 7 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Makes that really easy, right? And then we're going to take these lines and we're going to be moving them over to our template over here. Okay. So let's make sure that that is good. So let's go back. Was that line? Let me delete that because I had that in there earlier. I'm going to take these out. All right. All right, so we're going to go and we're going to get that line because that line is much smaller, it looks like, than 8.5, or maybe that's just the way it looks on here, but it doesn't look like 8.5 to me. Okay. Well, it says it's 8.5, but it just doesn't look like it. Let me see if I drag it outside of my box what it looks like. Yeah, that is weird. That is super weird that I put 8.5, which is the width of my square. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm not sure what is going on with that little square there, but let's do this because there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? So we're going to go up here and we're going to delete that. And we're going to delete these because Mama don't know what's going on with them. All right, so we're going to take that shape again. Let's walk back through this one more time. And we're going to unlock it. And we're going to change the width to 8.5. Oops, 8.5. And then we're just going to, it still looks super small. It still doesn't look like it's 8.5. Okay, let me make sure I didn't make my square. I didn't. My square is 8.5 by 11. I'm not sure what's going on, guys. This is weird. It's Cricut Design Space, right? Yeah. All right, there we go. Now, I don't know what made it go to, it's actually saying 8.463. Weird. Oh, okay. But you're going to get those and you're going to duplicate them until you get um, a line for each row. And then you're just going to drag it to right up under. So you kind of want your letters, your alphabet to sit kind of like on the line, like that. And there we go. And okay, this is weird. Okay, copy and duplicate to paste it. All right, so we're just gonna get our lines again, bring them to right up under your letters. And now that we've copied it, we can just paste that line. I don't know why the thinner one it worked on for me before, so it must be some bug in Design Space. All right, so we're almost there. All righty. And I'm not using a line center because it's not center, guys, which would make it super easy. But because we want to leave that little bit of room in there for the, and I'm just right clicking and pasting since I've already copied the line. So for those of you that are new to Cricut Design Space, just right click and paste after you've copied the line one time, or you could always use the duplicate up here in the top right corner. And then we're going to put our last little line there, just like that. All right, so now we have everything that we need, and what we're going to do is you could get creative and you could add another line to go on there, and you could put that line up top because you do have room, and you could put, you know, write my ABCs like I did on my sample, or you could put the child's name. So, you know, let's say Leah, and I gotta learn how to spell. Okay, so you could put the child's name, just make sure that, you know, you change that to 67 or whatever so that it fits nicely and not too big. Now that you would be able to align and center for the child's name. So I'm just gonna drag it over because everything is crazy. All right. And you can even write the child's name in a different color. So what we're going to do at this point, we now have everything in here, and I always have to go back and look at it. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Because it'll be just like me to go ahead and print this and then realize I made a mistake. So I always say double check your work. All right, so we are good to go here. The last steps that we're going to do, because we don't want this to cut, we don't want Cricut to cut anything. So the first thing we're going to do is go over and locate your blue or whatever color square and just hide it. And you hide it just by clicking on the eye. So I'm at the right hand side of my screen here. You can see I located my blue square and I just hid it, okay? Everything else, you're going to click it, and then you're going to go to your line type and you're going to change it to draw. Now, when you change it to draw, it's going to change your letters to look like this. All right, so that's because we're drawing this. We're having Cricut to draw. It takes about 7 minutes for it to draw everything. You could also change this to a cut and print, which basically means that it's going to send it to your printer to print it out for you. And then you don't actually have to cut it. The only thing there is I haven't tried that. I'm gonna try it and see what it looked like because I know you get that black line. So I'll do a workaround and post that in the group. Um, Let me change one thing here because I don't like how I just want to make sure that my letters are sitting on top of the line and not inside the line. So I'm just going to double check here. Bring my, okay. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. So just double check your work, guys. Everything looks good. So go ahead and highlight it. And on the right hand side, you're going to select attach. Okay. And at this point, you're ready to click on make it in the top right corner. And you can see that it has it set up to draw. Now, what I would recommend that you do so that you make sure everything is going to be drawing towards the left side of your cardstock is when you get to this point, is to drag this over to the 10 to where everything lines up with that 10, okay? And that way you are leaving yourself room over here so that you could actually do 3-hole punch paper, okay? So when you get to this point, just drag it over to the line 10. And the reason I say 10 is because that's just an even number that you can line everything up with and make sure that it's gonna look nice and pretty, okay? So at this point, you don't need to mirror anything. All you do is click on continue. When you click on continue, today, I selected medium cardstock, and notice here it tells you to load your pen. So I had my black pen in clamp A, and then there's no other tools required. Notice there's no tool required for clamp B because we're not cutting anything. Everything is just going to be drawn directly onto your cardstock. And you can use whatever color pen you want to just because it says black. If you want to use blue instead, then feel free to use blue. Go for it. And at this point, guys, you're just ready to make your project. I'm not going to make it again because I've already made it. And of course, like I said, I don't have any small kids to give this to. So I'm just going to click cancel here. But yeah, you're done. And again, once it draws everything onto your cardstock, you're just going to take that and place it right inside of your laminated paper. That's it. And if you have a laminator, you can laminate it. That way you know that it's in there and you don't have to worry about the kids ever taking it out. I don't have a laminator, so I'm not really worried about it. I'm probably going to throw this thing in the garbage. But that way, all you have to do is use a dry erase marker on the laminated sheet after you insert your paper in there. And that's it, guys. All you need is cardstock and a Cricut pen. That's it. Nothing's going to be cut. Everything is going to be drawn directly onto your cardstock. And then, of course, you need your laminated paper or some type of plastic covering to cover your paper. So it doesn't really have to be laminated paper or plastic. It could be, whatever type of plastic you have on hand. All right. If you have any questions, guys, about this process, feel free in reaching out. I'll be more than glad to assist you. And if you are a member of my Facebook group, Candoris's Cricut and Creative Crafters, thank you guys so much for being a part of my group. And if not, you can always send a Facebook request because my group is private. It is not public. And if you want to find me on YouTube, then you can search me by Doris Edwards. And also you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and also click that bell notification in the top right-hand corner. And that way you will be notified anytime I upload videos, which I do about 1, 2, sometimes 3 or more times a week. I know sometimes my group members probably get sick of me, but I'm just trying to help them, guys. All right, guys, that's it. That's all. And as always, each one reach one so that each one can teach one. And you guys have a great day.